Secretary of Department of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, was absolutely smacked down by Illinois Democrats this week. Maybe because she's a fascist who likes to kill puppies. I'm just speculating here. But she was so embarrassed that it actually gave me joy. Anyway, she wasn't just met with protest. She was absolutely humiliated. She was rebuked by grieving families. She was mocked by state leaders. Essentially, she was run out of the state capitol. Take a look.
I have one thing to say.
That looks fun. So what exactly happened here? Well, Noem, who in addition to being a sociopath is also a narcissist, actually thought it was a good idea to plan a press conference in front of the Illinois governor's mansion in order to exploit a local tragedy, which is so on brand for the cruel people in the Trump regime. I'm talking about the murder of a woman who was allegedly killed by her ex-boyfriend. Noem has been using the case in order to attack sanctuary cities and immigrants, despite the facts being completely unclear at this point. She also was doing this against the wishes of the woman's family. From the moment she announced her trip, though, Illinois leaders made clear she was not welcome in their state. Governor J.D. Pritzker released a scathing statement geared towards Noem and the Trump regime as a whole. And this isn't surprising considering Pritzker has been one of the loudest and most on-point opponents of the regime. Pritzker first mocked Noem, and then Donald and all of his enablers and sycophants. He started off by saying, quote, "We would urge all pet owners in the region to make sure all of your beloved animals are under watchful protection while the secretary is in the region," unquote. Well played, sir. Well played. Because that is an allusion to the horrific lie and disinformation that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance spread during the campaign about the kidnapping and eating of pets by Haitian immigrants who, by the way, were here under temporary protected status, which is to say legally. Nothing they said was true. It was absolutely despicable and harmful to that community in Springfield. Also, it's an allusion to what I alluded to earlier, that Kristi Noem killed a puppy and actually bragged about it. Then came a second hit, also from Governor Pritzker. Quote, "Secretary Noem has often been spotted on television cosplaying law enforcement officers, so media are invited to capture her latest costume upon arrival. Despite the Trump administration being in office for more than 100 days and falsely accusing Illinois of not following federal and state law, Secretary Noem and her team does not communicate with the state of Illinois and has not asked for support or coordination to enforce immigration laws," unquote. Okay, this was a complete roast of everything Noem pretends she is. She is not actually a law enforcement officer. She just dresses up like one to try to give herself some semblance of authority. She likes to make videos in front of illegally detained prisoners who are packed in prisons under horrific conditions. Yeah, she likes to pretend she's a tough guy. Sound like anybody else you know? Let's not forget, though, that the real reasons for Pritzker comment hit so hard, they're all true. Noem has indeed appeared in full police regalia on camera. As I said, she's not only does she have, is she not law enforcement, she has no law enforcement training whatsoever. She just likes to wear the costumes. MSNBC compiled the receipts.
Here she is wearing what appears to be a bulletproof vest at a meeting in New York City. Here she is in full Customs and Border Patrol uniform costume on set at Fox News. She is not a Customs and Border Patrol agent. Here's her in a cowboy hat at the southern border on a horse. Because sure, what's a cowboy hat without a horse a few feet below it? Here she was a couple of weeks ago, posing Abu Ghraib style in front of prisoners at El Salvador's brutal mega prison. Here she is doing armed ride-alongs with ICE agents, where she gets dressed up and she holds big guns and she play acts at helping personally to arrest people.
It's kind of like all of those non-fungible token, imaginary trading cards of Donald's come to life. She's an embarrassment, but of course she's part of the Trump regime, so of course she's an embarrassment. I just wanted to point something out about the second to last image we saw of her holding that assault rifle. It looked like it was pointed at the head of the guy standing next to her, so the woman doesn't even understand basic gun safety. Even I understand that shit. Don't point a gun at somebody else's head unless you plan to shoot them. Seems simple to me. Anyway, no matter what her outfit choices, Noem was not prepared for what Springfield had in store for her. But before we go further, please remember that Mary Trump Media is not corporate media. We do not bend the knee, we are not for sale, and we never will be. We expose the lies the Trump regime tells and tries to keep buried, and independent media like ours survives because of you. So please like and share our videos and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Being the arrogant narcissist she is, I fully expect that Noem probably thought she was going to be greeted with a parade or something. It's not exactly what happened. First of all, it's Illinois. And secondly, Christy, everybody hates you. When she arrived, she was met instead with protests, angers, signs condemning her. It's so easy to come up with reasons to do that. Governor Pritzker even had massive banners placed in front of the governor's mansion, making it crystal clear she was not welcome. As the 10 a.m. press conference time rolled around, Noem was nowhere to be seen. Oh, gosh, why would that be? Scheduling conflict, perhaps? Let me think. Oh, wait. She's a member of the Trump regime. She's a coward. She literally could not gather the fortitude to go do this stupid thing she'd planned to do. Illinois Secretary of State Alexi Giannoulias did not hesitate to call her out.
And I will just tell you, the combination of cowardice, incompetence, and cruelty is a very scary mix. So while I'm glad she's not here, we need to step up as a society, as a country, as a democracy, to monsters like Kristi Noem, who don't care about people.
Yeah, she's a monster. Corruption, cruelty. This is all these people know. It's all they stand for. And it is so refreshing to see people in power in the Democratic Party standing up and just telling it like it is. Noem, of course, moved the event at the last minute, probably because she got advanced warning that there were protesters, and she moved it to a truly grotesque place, to the site of the woman's murder. She didn't consult the victim's family. She did not have their support. And what Kristi Noem did, because, again, she is a cruel, unfeeling, inhumane sociopath, is she increased the grief of an already unspeakably grief-stricken family, if that's even possible. Now, the woman's name is Emma Schaefer, and her parents, Kathy Schwartz and John Schaefer, released the following unbearable statement, released because of Kristi Noem's stunt. Quote, even as a child, she was a friend to everyone and someone who spoke up for the less fortunate. She dedicated her life, her career, and her free time to causes of social justice and equity. That was just who she was. To see her used by Secretary Noem and others to advance a cruel and heartless political agenda is not just deeply painful to us, it is an insult to her memory. Noem's words are in direct conflict with who Emma was as a person. Emma built up community and stood with all members, including immigrants, unquote. The parents called Noem's use of their daughter's name, quote, an insult to her memory, unquote. And instead of attending the press conference, They joined the protesters, which it sounds like that's exactly what their daughter Emma would have wanted them to do. That says everything. It tells us everything about who Emma Schaefer was, who her parents are, and who Kristi Noem is. This is unforgivable, but it is completely in keeping with the kind of tactics used by people like Donald Trump and Kristi Noem. I'm sorry to say that Emma Schaefer's parents' statement won't make a bit of difference in how Kristi Noem conducts herself, because Kristi Noem does not care about Emma Schaefer or her legacy or her parents' feelings. It's not just Emma's parents who felt this way. In fact, it seems like the entire community of Springfield was appalled by Noem's visit and her opportunistic, grotesque behavior. And of course, the way she was so willing to capitalize upon a local tragedy solely to advance an agenda nobody in that town wants anything to do with. Protesters followed Noem everywhere in Springfield. They shouted anti-fascist slogans. They waved signs condemning the Trump regime's policies. She didn't just lose the original site of the press conference. She didn't just lose people while she was giving it. She lost the crowd. She lost the community. I'd say she lost any shred of credibility, but when has she ever had any? We need more of these kinds of protests. We need people showing up, yes, in the expected places, but also in the unexpected places, because we know what's going to happen next. Kristi Noem, the coward, Tom Homan, the coward. They will not go to places where they are not welcome, where they do not have political allies. They will not be showing up in sanctuary cities unless the leaders of said cities, like Eric Adams in New York, are willing to abdicate all of their integrity to them. So Noem, Homan, et al. Will only show up in safe spaces, will only show up in red cities and red towns and red states. Guess what? We can show up there too. And we must, because this sends a signal, a very loud signal, that most Americans are on the right side of this issue. And we will not put up with having people like Kristi Noem disgrace our democracy and, in the most cynical way imaginable, exploit tragedies in order to commit more cruel acts in our names. Unbelievably enough, this was not the first time this week that Noem was scorched by an Illinois Democrat. Noem had to testify on Capitol Hill this week for a Department of Homeland Security budget hearing, and she got absolutely grilled by Illinois Representative Lauren Underwood.
Do you believe that the Constitution grants everyone in our country the right to due process, including non-citizens?
The administration has the authority to.
Ma'am, I'm looking for a yes or no question. Yes or no. Do you believe the Constitution? Yes, ma'am. Do you,
we have
ma'am?
not conducted in
Claiming my
any
time,
kind of
Mr. Chairman.
Time is yours.
Okay. Secretary Noem, I'm just looking for a yes or no here. Do you believe the Constitution guarantees due process to everyone in America?
Due process is exactly what this Congress lays
Yes
out.
or no?
It is,
Okay,
and the
ma'am,
tools
I'll take
you
that as
give
a
us
no.
on due process
Excuse me,
is
I'm trying,
afforded to.
ma'am, I'm trying to ascertain your understanding of the law as it applies to your department. And you as its leader should be able to give us a yes or no answer, because judge after judge has ruled that the law is not being followed. Do you believe that the U.S. government has the authority to deport American citizens?
No, and we are not deporting
great.
U.S. citizens.
I'm so happy to hear that you do not believe that the law gives you that authority, because the federal government has no authority under U.S. laws to deport any American citizen. And as I know, everyone viewing this hearing today knows that several American citizens have been deported to
haven't.
date.
That is not
Secretary
true.
Noem, that was not a question.
Now, Representative Underwood totally rocks. That was great. I would reframe the question a little bit, just slightly, because it is not a question of belief. My question would be, you vicious puppy murderer. Sorry. My question would be, Secretary Noem, have you read the Constitution? She'll lie and say yes. Then my follow-up would be, in the Constitution, does everybody on American soil have the right to due process? That's it. I don't care what Christy Noem believes or not. It's like climate change and COVID. Neither one of those things cares if we believe in them. These are not belief systems. These are facts. It is in the Constitution that everybody in this country, American citizen or not, innocent or guilty or not, has the right to due process. She can believe that or not believe that. I don't really care. But it was refreshing to see how expertly Representative Underwood got Noem to admit that no, it is not legal to deport American citizens, and then kind of put her in a trap by reminding her that the Trump regime has already done such things. Of course, she lied about that too, but at that point, we don't really care what she has to say because we believe in facts. So one thing about what went down this week is very clear. There is a tide turning. People are really getting fed up with the Trump regime's anti-constitutional and reckless behavior towards immigrants. And it looks like instead of, just letting it go, people are getting more and more engaged in this issue. To see citizens and elected officials not just standing up, but speaking so clearly, so emphatically about the wrongs being committed by the Trump regime in general and people like Kristi Noem in particular is, again, very, very heartening, and it is very inspiring. And also, it's quite effective the way that, in addition to laying out the hard and cold facts about what's being done in the Trump regime's name, they're also, and this is one of my favorite things, mocking them, mocking their viciousness, mocking their stupidity, and mocking their very existence. I love that stuff because that works too. Please take a second and like and share this video. Be awesome if you could subscribe to the channel. If you're listening to us in podcast form, please follow us and give the show a 5-star rating because it really does help other people find our content. Thanks.